MacVoices is supported by LinkedIn Jobs. Find the right person for your business today with LinkedIn Jobs. Pay what you want and get $50 off your first job post at linkedin.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices Live on Facebook. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we do this every Tuesday night. Usually we have a featured guest, but tonight we decided to do something a little bit different and do another one of our open mic nights. And so that basically says that anybody can join us anytime, even more so than normal. And all of a sudden I've got a cast of regulars that have shown up here to talk about some of the Apple news of the moment and whatever else strikes our fancy. And just a quick sort of semi-programming note. Starting with this show, we are doing a pre-show live of about 15 minutes at 7:45 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to see us come in as we sort of get set up and get everything ready to go and get the stream up and running, you're welcome to join us then. But we're going to try to, that way we're right ready to go at the very top of the hour exactly on time, or at least that's the plan. We'll see how it works out. First, let's go around the table, see who's here, at least so far, and then we'll get into whatever it is we're going to get into. So I'm going to take my my screen as I always do, so it doesn't favor anyone necessarily. First up, Mr. David Ginsburg. David, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you, Chuck. Glad to be here. It's going to be some fun tonight.
It always is. It always is. Mr. Frank Petrie is back with us. Frank, welcome back.
Mister, I owe you money or something? Or?
Well, we can talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
Kelly Guimont is back with us. Kelly?
Hi, Chuck. Nice to see you. Lovely to be here.
It's always good to see you. It's sunlight where you are because we can see it coming in your window.
It is, yes. It's totally daytime here right now, as a matter of fact.
Wow. Not sure. Well, I guess. And the other person it's daylight for is Brittany Smith. Brittany, welcome.
Hi.
So you two still have daylight. Mm-hmm. I guess, yeah, David has darkness. Frank and I definitely have darkness. So, it's just that time of year. It's that time of year.
We're on the dark side.
Okay, I'll buy that. But I'm not wearing black. I should be wearing black.
Yeah, because I was.
Yeah, David's in costume.
David's on point.
Yeah, I got to get the prop department. So a couple things to hit right off the bat, and we'll probably save the meatiest one for a little bit later. But first off, we have an announcement of an Apple event next Tuesday as we record this. So any thoughts? Anybody have any ideas? I mean, other than the obvious iPhone 12, any hints in the invitations or anything that anybody wants to speculate on?
Yeah, I think the one hint for sure I thought was the AirTags and the way the icon looked when they sent it, and I think that I have this feeling that the AirTags is going to be announced, possibly the AirPod Studio, but yeah, definitely I think the focus is going to be iPhone. There's no question about that.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I did see that something that now Apple has stopped selling all third-party speakers and everything in the Apple stores, which leads me to believe that there may be some truth to a lot more of the audio stuff. Rumors. It would not seem to make a lot of sense that given this is October, the holiday season is coming up. Why would you take those out of the store unless you had something to put in the store to replace them? So.
Yeah. Remember going to Apple stores?
Yeah.
I remember.
Paisley?
You still have those?
I kind of went there when I bought my Apple Watch, but I had to stand in line outside to wait for them to bring it to me. So, but I was
bought
there.
my last Mac at a White Castle.
Oh my gosh!
Got a good deal. Got a good deal with cheese and onions too.
Yeah. So, does anybody? I mean, are your Apple stores open where you are?
Mm-hmm.
They're open.
Mine are.
You're very limited if you can even go into the store. I mean,
I have two stores near me, Cherry Hill and Sagemore, which is about 3 miles from here.
Okay. Brittany, Kelly, how about you guys out in Oregon?
The one downtown is still shut for reasons. And we'll just leave it there. And then the other ones, I honestly don't remember. I'm trying to look in the Apple Store app now.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about the tigered ones.
Yeah, because we have 2 that are in shopping centers that are well outside of town, and I
But
don't
they're
even know
great
the
if you
state.
commute into Portland from the south.
If you have a
Oh,
Tesla.
yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah, if you have a Tesla, it's even better. Yeah, and so I don't know about the other 2, but the big nice one downtown is still closed. If the other ones are open, I imagine it's the same sort of experience David had. Like, you have to wear a mask and wait outside, and like if you get to go inside at all, your time inside is minimal. So yeah, for people who might be curious, I don't know why I didn't think of this immediately. Charlotte Henry over at MacObserver.com has been maintaining a running list of what's open and shut, and so she's got a lot
Great
set up
list.
there that you can go, and it's like as close to worldwide, I think, as we can get. So
Yeah, I've been
yeah.
looking at that pretty much almost every day. And when all the Illinois stores were closed, I mean, they had just opened up. She had an update to the list. I said, "Hey, where's it? They're open now." And the next day she had it on there. So
Kelly, you have
Yeah,
any
she-
curbside places?
um
I think
I'm
Tiger
sure we-
might be opened.
I'm
But
sure we do.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
I
let's
don't.
see.
Sorry.
Let me just flip
Cool.
down Charlotte's list. There are places that do curbside sorts of things. There's a lot of that that goes on here, just in general. So, and I'm sure we have a couple of resellers that will as well. So,
Well, Barry in the chat room says Tucson at Alliance at El Can
La
Encantada?
Encantada.
La
Encantada.
Encantada. My tongue won't work. Is open. He doesn't know about the Phoenix stores. So there's some that are out there that are open, and check obviously with your local store, make sure it's open, and open in what capacity, because that's
Yes.
a challenge. But yes,
I just scrolled far enough down Charlotte's list, and the store in Washington Square and the store at Bridgeport Village are both open.
good.
So, yeah.
So, depending on where you are and what the circumstances are, you may be able to visit an Apple store and see some of the things that are coming out,
Yeah.
and whatever those things are. I am curious, and you guys know I hate rumors, but there's one thing that keeps popping up, and I keep kind of saying why and what for. What do you see in the way of a HomePod Mini? Does a HomePod Mini make sense to anybody at this point?
absolutely. I think
100%.
because Google just came out with one with just last week, and they announced it with the Chromecast, the new Chromecast, which I think is actually an amazing value at $49 and what it does, and having Google TV. And then I know we don't talk about Google stuff here, but there's no way Google's going to come out with a small mini speaker for $100 and Apple not want to counter with something that's a lot more affordable than the HomePod. Because the HomePod's expensive. I mean, when it first came out, it was $299. I mean, I know the prices have come down a little bit on it since, but I absolutely agree. Like Kelly said, it's just, it's 100%. I think something's going to get announced.
Yeah, the
Kelly?
HomePod is $299. We talked about this morning on Daily Observations, which you can check out at MacObserver.com. We talked about it this morning because the HomePod is still $299. Like, to walk in and buy one new, it's $300. And I get what Apple was aiming for with the HomePod, which is something that sounds great that you can also talk to. But who's killing it in that market right now is Amazon, that makes a thing you can talk to that also has a speaker. And that speaker is not great. And there is a huge bunch of space between, like, I don't have enough frame, so that's why it's only this wide. But there's a huge market for people who want something that sounds better than the Echo Base does, but is not necessarily a HomePod. Like, the sound of the HomePod is amazing. I love it. It is fantastic. This is a problem I have already solved. So there's no place in my house for me to put a HomePod, as compact as it is, whatever. If you can give me the little hockey puck size, the AirPod Dot, so to speak, like something a little smaller, something comes in maybe $99 that will give me full access to the S Lady, all my podcasts, all my Apple Music subscription, all the other stuff that I like to ask the assistant to do, add things to the shopping list, turn on and off the lights, all of that. If you can give me that in a smaller package with a smaller price tag, I will absolutely buy one, because there's still a whole world of sound that they could improve on over like the Echo Dot or the Echo Bass that I have in my house. And I would rather be Team Apple and let HomeKit be the thing that's turning on and off the lights than letting Amazon do it. But the only way Apple has an option for me to do that right now is $300, and I think that that's ludicrous. Partly because I don't have a place for them now. I would have one if they were cheaper and smaller. I would absolutely buy one, but I don't have that much space, and I don't have that much money for something that is going to be of limited utility to me for the most part, which is, you know, I want to add things to the shopping list in the kitchen, listen to music while I'm making dinner, you know, that sort of stuff. Like, for that, I can't justify a $300 majigger for that. Sorry to be technical. But like, if you, for $99, yeah, that's probably a case that I could plead to Mr. Kelly, you know, and perhaps get approving from finance, you know, to go and pick one of those up.
See, the thing I think people forget, though, is Apple, I think, sort of shot above the bar with the original HomePod, because everybody just focuses mainly on Lady S and the speakers. But if you remember from the very beginning, they were using like really high-end state, and they still are, high-end state of technology that you could place that thing anywhere in the room and it would do the measurements, so no matter where you went. That was great. Now, there's nothing else on the market like that that isn't pricey. But if you're going for, I agree, like you're saying, Kelly, if you're looking at it mainly as a thing of, I want quality sound and where I put the dang thing, and I want it to respond to me, then yeah, they going to just sort of have to either lob off that tech or say we have, I hate to say it, but a pro version, and we have a quality version.
Make that, like, take the HomePod we have now, make it pro at $300, and sell me the HomePod nothing, or the this morning the one that, well, I said mini this morning. The one that John liked best was the HomePod Air, and sell me the HomePod Air for $99, and I'll have one. See, the thing is, they want to sell me what Apple's trying to sell me with the HomePod is the amazing sound, and I am a fan of amazing sound. And the reason that you know that I am a fan of amazing sound is because what's in that closet is a couple of high-end pieces of audio-visual equipment that help power the giant, gorgeous television and the speakers almost as tall as I am on the other side of that wall that make for a primo listening experience whenever I want to hear something, like, for reals. Brittany can attest to this. She's been in my basement. So, like, it's serious business. There's no getting around it, but it's a problem I've solved. And yes, it was more than $300, but like, I've taken care of this issue already everywhere that I want for there to be quality sound. I found a way to make that happen way before there was a HomePod. So it's not like I don't want to give Apple more money, but there's no avenue for that at my house right now. So let me swap out the Dot I have in the kitchen for a HomePod Mini or a HomePod Air, and I'm all over it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing is, though, I think the thing that bothers me is that the Echo devices, and I won't speak for all of them right now because I know they finally, after a few years, got into a decent sounding speaker device for music. And so I look at the HomePod as principally a music device. And it happens to have Siri, and that's great because then I can tell it that I want. Shoot, I just said her name. Sorry, folks. But you know that I can tell her.
You have to hate her. So
that's true. But I have to tell her, you know, okay, I want to listen to this. I want to listen to this album, this artist, this track, whatever. So she has to be in there. And all the other Amazon devices, I mean, they were pathetic for about a year and a half. I mean, I had a couple Amazon devices, but I had them plugged into some kind of external speaker because the built-in speakers were just so bad.
It's crap. It was AM radio.
Yeah, and that's what
wasn't even AM radio.
Yeah, and that's what concerns me now is, you know, where are we going to go? What is this? What is this HomePod Mini, HomePod Air, HomePod 2, whatever? Well, you know, how much of a compromise is it going to be? This edition of MacVoices is supported by LinkedIn Jobs. Make your next great hire with LinkedIn Jobs. You need great people on your team to make your business grow and thrive. The problem is finding those people. That takes time and effort, distracting you from doing what you need to do. And that's why I think you should look to LinkedIn Jobs when you need to make your next hire. One of the most painful things about the hiring process is wading through applicants who really don't meet your needs. I love the fact that LinkedIn Jobs lets you skip that step by screening your applicants for the hard and soft skills you want, and even providing a rating system to help get your job to the people that you want to see it. With all that, you automatically get qualified candidates to consider. All that boils down to making better hires faster. That's important to me, and I bet it's important to you too. So, when your business is ready to make that next hire, find the right person with LinkedIn Jobs. You can pay what you want and get the first $50 off. Just visit linkedin.com/MacVoices. Again, that's linkedin.com/MacVoices to get $50 off your first job post. Terms and conditions apply. Thanks to LinkedIn Jobs for their support of MacVoices. Sorry.
I think there's a big difference between let's just call it AM radio, the AM radio of an Echo and the sound that you get out of a HomePod. I think that there's definitely a sweet spot in there that Apple could hit with something that would sonically blow the socks off anything Amazon's trying to pimp to you right now, but also be reasonably priced, loaded with S-Lady, and make for a nice HomeKit assistant to help, turn off the lights and adjust the thermostat and all of that. Okay, David, now it's your turn. I'll be quiet.
Well, no, I've been a HomePod user since it came out. I mean, I've got two to my left right now, as a pair. I paired them, as well as I got to, even because I got as a gift the Sonos Move speaker, so I get the best of both worlds. I got the high end, that's a $400 speaker at the Sonos, but I was able to get two HomePods. But I'm getting a good immersed experience just sitting here, because I used to have a Bose speaker that I would have down here next to my computer, and that's what I would do a lot of my music listening when I was up here in my office. But yeah, just like you, I have a home theater downstairs in my basement with a big TV, and the same experience I have down there. But I agree. I think my point was just by having these pairs, I'm assuming that the HomePod, whatever it's called, mini or whatever it is, people may buy two of them, which is a lot more affordable than two HomePods, and then be able to have the same experience, immersed experience, having a stereo pair and being able to listen to music. So, but yeah, I agree with you with that when it comes to that. So.
Brittany, you're awfully quiet. I know that. I think in a previous show you said you don't listen to streaming music, so maybe the HomePod
Right.
isn't for you.
I mean, I should be listening to music more than I tend to. I'm waiting until I stop hearing complaints about how it handles requests from shortcuts from the shortcut Slack before I don't want anything to get in the way of my shortcuts.
That's valid.
I want it to just be a teensy bit smarter. And
I'm in that Slack too,
I'm not
so yeah,
uninterested.
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, like I could see a mini for my place in Portland. It's not a big space to fill with sound. You don't need a lot there. But I could see getting one if it was at the right price point, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to screw up my shortcuts.
Okay.
I listen to
don't know.
music
How would
constantly,
you
and I would love
compare
for
that-
that to be upgraded, a better experience to listen to it on a HomePod. I think that would work a lot better than most of what I listen to music on now. That's why I think there's such a market for it.
Yeah, Frank?
I was wondering, now you and I both have Audioengine Pluses or Audioengine speakers.
Yes.
Would you want the quality sound as good as the Audioengines, which have a really good mid-range? And I've got the little Plus computer speakers, and these things kick. And I think their big point is the mid-range. And I think that's where Echo and Amazon, they drop off. They don't really have much mid-range at all.
Yeah.
Do you want something of the quality sound coming out of the HomePod as you get out of your Audioengines?
Okay, so let me explain. First of all, hang on. We have someone else coming in. Make sure I get back to that, Frank.
All right.
We have somebody else joining us.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
God.
It's
Who is
Mr.
it?
Guy Serle.
My
We're in trouble
guys-
now.
No.
Is it
Wait,
Parrot?
the audio is not connected yet for him yet.
Tylerd.
He
Bert
can't
Shark.
hear us yet.
The meeting is outsmarting him.
Eventually it's going to turn to one live
Now, there he is.
broadcast, I think.
Guy Serle. Guy, welcome. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Hey, Guy.
I don't even
Hold
see
on, I'm
that.
still setting up. I'm still setting up here.
Oh, there
All
you
right.
are.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Well,
a new
while-
location for you.
Yeah. Well, while you keep on setting up, to answer your question, Frank. Okay, so I have I have two HomePods that are in the living room, and like David's, I have them as a stereo pair, and that's what I will say I listen to when I'm not here in the office studio thing.
Right.
Okay, when I'm here. And I can still hear the the HomePods just fine, but here I have the audio engines. Wait, which finger's which here? Right there's one. The other one, if I lean over,
Yeah, there you go.
if I lean over, you can see them. So I have them bracketing my primary workspace here, so
That's
that
what
it's about as immersive as you can possibly get. Have a nice wide sound stage and have that right there. I love both of them for different listening experiences. And I can't recommend either one of them highly enough because I think they just sound that good. Now, to get to your question, I don't want to listen to music on something that I say, gee, that sounds good, but I wish it just sounded a little better. That's, and I realize, and I'm very fortunate, let's, be very clear here to have all this gear, but, yes, I have a couple little junky Bluetooth speakers that, I can take out in the yard if I'm doing something and, don't want to put AirPods in. And if
sure.
if a squirrel happens to rip them apart,
Squirrel!
it's not going to bother me.
How aggressive are your squirrels?
Oh, that's a whole different discussion. But you
They're
don't
bad.
wanna
They're
get
bad
into
Oh, and
here.
Hershey?
It's like iguanas in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's really bad.
I'll
They're
tell you my
horrible
squirrel
here.
story after the show, Brittany. But yeah, so that's, and I guess that's the concern. Knowing Apple, I don't think I need to be concerned, but it's like, if you're going to do something smaller or whatever, please don't compromise that great sounding sound. I mean, maybe, and Frank may have hit it. Hang on, Kelly. Frank may have hit it. Maybe if you trim off some of the sound analysis tech and just say, hey, we're going to put in a great sounding speaker and we're going to have the S82, they can bring it down to a decent price and go from there. Guy,
And it could be good, but not the best. And a lot of people are really okay with that.
Because what are you listening to on it otherwise? It's coming out of an iPhone speaker. It's coming out of an iPad speaker.
And it's a
maybe
compressed
coming out
file
of-
anyway.
It's coming out of one of Chuck's, like your Bluetooth speaker, like you were talking about. Like I have a couple of Bluetooth little outposts in the yard. They're like permanent outdoor fixtures that you can stream music to. They're not great. I know they're not great, but it's better than not listening to anything at all. So that's why I think that there's a whole lot of room for Apple to put out something that they will make money on that sounds super great, that's going to sound, a little better than the speaker that came in whatever Apple device you normally listen to your Apple Music subscription on, which is, again, wireless, streaming, compressed. Like there's a lot of other stuff that goes into that. Like I said, when that's why I pointed out when I want to listen to something for real, I put it in, I feed it to the AV system back here. And that's how I actually listen to things. So there's a huge difference. And I think that Apple could make a world of improvement over the kind of stuff that people are using to hear music now and still come out way, way ahead.
Yeah. Guy, you brought up file compression.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's really what it comes down to as well. You're not going to get, all the crisp highs and the clear lows that you would get from an analog recording, something you would get off of, if you want, depending on how far back you want to go, a vinyl record. You listen to The Song Remains the Same by Led Zeppelin. They're fantastic live recording from 1972 or 74 on an album. And then you listen to it through whatever means you got it through iTunes, and it sounds different. So the fact that an iPod, or not an iPod, a HomePod, has speakers that are capable of catching that sound doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to, because what you're putting into it isn't that great to begin with. It's good enough for what 99.9% of people out there are doing. But, it's not, and I am not an audio snob. I will listen to almost anything on anything and not really care. But if you're going to talk about audio quality, then the medium is the message. Whether it's compressed and whether it's been condensed down to such a level that it'll fit into a 40 megabyte file versus what you would have gotten if it had been a true analog recording.
Okay.
That's a lot of words.
That's the other piece of it, though. I think you have a point, Guy. Like, if somebody is really worried about what they're getting out of their audio, they're going to sit down and put on a record or put a CD in a massive. I can't even think of what the word is for it now, but they're
really like a preamp,
basically like the Blu-ray of CD players. That's hooked up to a preamp. You've got a nice Denon in there. You got Bowers and Wilkins on the other side. Those giant, gorgeous Nautilus speakers from Ireland. If that like.
And
if you're taking it seriously, if you're
you
taking
can
it
keep the
seriously, that's
Tesla.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
But if what you're doing is, like, I want it to sound better than the speaker on my phone, we can do that.
Yeah, that's not that hard.
Like, it's the same sort of thing as, to compress this for, to Guy's point, like, if you're going to listen to music for real, you're going to listen to it from some sort of physical source. If you're going to listen to wirelessly streaming audio, or you're going to, you've got resident files on your phone like I do, and that's what you want to be listening to, when you are doing that, you are making some sacrifices in the first place. And
Yes.
I think there's absolutely a place for Apple to put out something that will present those MP3s or M4As or whatever as best they possibly can, which is still going to be a world better than anything anyone else has given us to do this. And by the way, it will also have the S Lady. And by the way, tell you the weather, look good, and, make the kitchen sound better than it does now when I tried to do the same thing with my Echo Dot.
And
So basically, you
Don't
want
underestimate-
quality audio wallpaper
it's
to a degree.
once we're talking about AirPods or once we're talking about AirPlay, you're talking about something that is so dead simple and easy to connect and unconnect. You can even run a shortcut for it. It makes it so simple and so
Nice
easy to
microphone,
just
by
say,
the way.
play through this thing, connect this thing, swap devices. It's really sort of that beautiful magic that I kind of fell in love with.
Honestly, that's
Says-
the biggest reason I
says
don't listen to
Swiffer
stuff
from
on my
my-
Echo anymore.
What?
Go ahead and ask again, Frank.
I said, is that Swiffer you're using for a mic, Brittany?
It's so I'm in this echoey cavern.
Do you know now? I have a degree in film. Do you know what they?
Uh-oh.
This is not really
I know
proper,
what it's
but-
called.
Okay, should I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
You can say it.
They're called dead cats.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hers is a little microphone, so it's a dead kitten.
Well, I didn't
Oh,
know
okay.
if Brett was listening. I know Brett wouldn't like that. So
Oh, please, don't do that. We're going to get in trouble with the SPCA people. Please.
I know that's my job.
Hey,
You guys
it's
in
okay. You have a token vegetarian here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Who also
okay.
went to film school. So, everyone
Yeah.
knows.
Although I didn't
those
do as well in
related?
my sound class.
Are those related?
Are those related?
Phil's
No, they're
vegetarians?
completely
Okay,
unrelated.
I don't
They're-
know. You know,
No.
No. I was just saying, like, we'll get a pass from the ASPCA.
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Good. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, connections.
The Mac Voices live panel will be back in the next edition of Mac Voices to talk primarily about two subjects. First, the loss of guitar legend Eddie Van Halen and what he meant to all of us. And also then the more blood pressure raising topic of the congressional report that was recently released that named Apple and some others as potential monopolists, comparing them to railroad tycoons and the like. And that gets everybody talking. That's next time on Mac Voices. You won't want to miss it. Until then, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.